Hey you guys, Linda Tupin back with new consultant training. This is the fourth video in a series, and we're going to focus today just on preliminary coaching of the hostess. This is what happens in the moment the party hits your date book, all right? So it's like a 5-minute window that you have a chance to equip your hostess. You know, how successful your hostess will be is in direct proportion to how much confidence you give her and how well you equip her. Now, our tendency is to cross our fingers and put it behind our back and say, ooh, I hope this party holds, and I hope people come, and I hope she sells a lot, and I hope she gets all her products for free. All right, I prefer my strategy. All right, it is a skill. All right, so let's start with what are the tips and the tricks to making preliminary coaching successful. First of all, understanding where parties come from. We know from the first 3 videos, and if you don't know where those are, talk to the person who shared this video and she can tell you where the other 3 are. But we already know that we want to sell her the product, and then we want to book her. Okay, so there's a sequencing. So in the selling procedure, we showed her all our beautiful products, and we asked her if money was not an issue, what would she want? And that's her dream wish list. And so she gives us what she would have if money was not an issue. And then we start her with what she's comfortable buying that day, and there's going to be a gap, and that gap is this party. The gap is the party. The gap is the number that makes the party happen. All right? All right. So you've just had a facial with me, or you've just been at a party and you've just seen all of this happen. And so we're sitting in our private consultation area, video number 3. We're sitting in our private consultation area. So the first thing I'm going to do is sell you. So I'm going to write up the ticket. I'm going to get what you can afford. And then I'm going to book your second appointment. Now, the second appointment is a natural sequencing of what you just heard at the party or the facial, because I talked 7 times during my party or facial about your second appointment, at your second appointment, at your second appointment. So she knows she's going to be a second appointment. So I reach for my date book, and I set up her second appointment. Now, I'm going to give you 3 booking tips right now that you will use for the rest of your life at this, whether it's this moment or any other moment where you're working with your date book, all right? The first one is you never let anyone see a blank date book, all right? Because that indicates you're not very important and you're not in demand. Can you imagine going to a doctor, ooh, yikes, who had a blank date book, all right? So we make sure that our life is in our date book. And after you have purchased your product, I'm going to reach for my date book, and I'm going to ask you what day is best for you, and I'm going to give you a choice of 2 dates. All right, now why do I give you a choice of 2 dates? Is because I became a Mary Kay Beauty consultant and have freedom and flexibility and to be able to control my schedule. And so if I open my date book and say what day would be great for you, that becomes this big open-ended question that never has an answer, and it's just, it doesn't work. Can I just say it doesn't work? And then save yourself a lot of time and aggravation. So Mary Kay taught us that we always just say, okay, I've got this date and this date open. And you give her a choice of 2 dates with 2 times. So, you know, I've got Tuesday, or I've got Thursday, I've got 6 o'clock, or I've got 7 o'clock. What works best for you? All right. Now, the other tip here is not to book more than 2 weeks out. Why? She's excited. Okay, she's excited about what products she just tried at the facial or at the party. And so she absolutely is anxious to get her hands on those products. So the sooner the better. Like, you know, we can have the party tomorrow. And don't be shocked if people book a party the next day. You do not need a month's notice to book a party. Like, she probably could round up people tomorrow. So the problem with that is you may be booked so heavy that you can't stay in that 2-week window. And then obviously there's an exception to every rule. And there's an exception to everything I'm saying. But for the most part, you want to stay inside that 2-week window. Then you're also going to have this moment in this conversation right here where there's going to be a conversation, like she hesitates and says, well, I really wanted like my sister to come, and you know, my mom and her aunt, you know, my aunt. And so you start to see that we're now going to slow this process down because she's got to go interview everybody. And that strategy is not a good strategy, and it doesn't work. So that's why Mary Kay invented the tentative booking approach. So if the conversation starts to drift that way, you say, okay, of the dates I gave you, what works best for you? Okay, if it's just you and I, what works best for you? I'm going to pencil that in. You go home, talk to your friends, and then if that day is not good for the majority, it'll never be good for all of them, but the majority, then we can change it. And because I have a pencil it can be changed. There's a lot of subliminal languaging right there. So those are your 3 tips on booking. Never forget them. All right. All right. So now we've got a date. Now we have to identify what she wants to earn. Now this is critical because classes postpone and cancel every day because the hostess didn't even know why she was working. All right. So I'm going to pull out my hostess brochure, and I paid attention during her facial, and I paid attention during that moment of, you know, if money were no issue, what would you like? And I know that Jordan loves a skin invigorating brush. She's been wanting one for 2 years, but they're like $100 at the mall. And so she mentioned that during the party. And so once we have the date, then I would say something like this. Okay, Jordan, now the fun starts. Let's figure out what you're going to get for free. All right, I heard you talking about the skin invigorating brush. Is that something you would like to work for? And she's like, oh my God, yes. Okay, so is there anything else that you would like to work for? All right, so we have a conversation right here about what she wants to work for. So let's just go with skin invigorating brush. Now, I work with Mary Kay's Hostess Plan, 10, 15, or 20%. In my entire 36-year career, I've never talked to anybody about 10% or 15%. It's always 20% with 2 bookings. Okay, you get what you talk about. And so I will say, no big deal, Jordan. You're going to knock this out of the ballpark. All right, now with for a skin invigorating brush, you're going to need a $250 party with 2 bookings. All right, now how did I get to that number? You take what she wants, multiply it by 5. All right, that's 20% of a number. All right, so $50 brush times 5, 250. All right, there we go. We have a $250 party, 2 bookings. All right, now I may add something there like, now you just saw Kelly's party. It looks like it's going to be probably well over $500. And so that's why I have zero doubt that you will have at least 250. In fact, we probably need to pick up the pace here and maybe pick out some more free stuff that you're going to get. But anyway, and you know, you're booking a party that's helping her, and I'm sure there's going to be people booking a party from you. And oftentimes what you're going to find is people who can't come to your party want to book their own party. And so you can get parties outside as well as inside the party. All right, so now I write in the brochure, skin invigorating brush, 250, 2 bookings. All right, so we have a date and we have what she wants to win. Now we're ready to equip her. All right, remember, equipping her gives her the confidence and the tools to be successful. All right, so the first tool is going to be actual lookbooks. The second tool is actual sales tickets or a piece of paper to write on. The third tool is the hostess brochure. The fourth tool is a link to your personal Mary Kay website. The fifth tool is a sample text to send to her family and friends. And I will actually make her an invitation, a pic collage that she can send. And all of these tools, things that I'm mentioning, will be included wherever you found this video. And then I will also take a moment to do a quick selfie with her, because in my next video, we're going to talk about pre-profiling guests and ensuring that they come to the party, and we will use a selfie to help kind of secure that. All right, now, why am I equipping her with actual lookbooks? It was number 1 on my list for a reason, because the conversation will sound something like this. Okay, Jordan, this is going to be so much fun. In fact, I have a sneaking suspicion you're going to probably be my number 1 hostess this month. Have I mentioned to you that I have special events for my hostesses every month and special awards for the number 1? I don't know. I have a feeling about you. All right, so let's get a strategy. So you mentioned you work UPS at night. All right, is there like a break room where everybody gathers? Okay, awesome. All right, I'm going to give you a couple of lookbooks. I want you to take them in, put them out on the table, and let the girls and the guys look through them. All right. Now, obviously, you'll have my link to my website and they can order there, but I'm going to give you some sales tickets. You know, I have a sneaking suspicion you could probably fill out 5 sales tickets. You think you could do 5? I don't know. Maybe you could do 10. Anyway, let's do that. All right. That'll be a lot of fun. All right. And then if they need their product like before the party, no big deal. You just text me and I'll make sure that I get that together and you can take it into break room like the next day. That'll really impress them. Okay. Now, what did I just do? I set a goal. I don't ask people a lot of stuff. I just kind of like grab a hold of the direction we're going with things that are of interest to them, and I make it happen in my mind, and then it happens out of my mouth. And that gives her confidence that we're on an amazing journey together, her and I. All right. And so lookbooks in a break room are magical. Now, there's going to be advanced training, so let me give you a little hint of that. There's moments with certain hostesses where you actually prepare a basket. of like the best-selling products, like hand creams and mascaras and lip glosses, and you let her take that in. But that's not everybody. But I mean, that can really jack your sales up. All right, right there. Or maybe a satin hand sampler. All those things are really, really good. Every one of these things that she does on her own without training equips her to be a dynamite beauty consultant. I mean, seriously, dynamite beauty consultant. All right, now the last thing I want to talk to you about is using incentives to fix a weak link. Your business is only as strong as its weakest link. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So you're going to find, as you start through this process as a new consultant, if people aren't booking, that's a weak link. If they're booking but not holding, that's your weak link. If they're holding but they're not buying, they're buying but not booking. Okay, so when you notice a weak link, you have to throw money at it, okay, to fix it. That's how you fix a weak link. All right, and so that's where you bring in half-price items. Half-price items do not cost you anything because they're half-price items, but you offer it to a hostess. So, for instance, if your parties are moving around on your date book, that's a weak link, and so you offer the hostess an incentive to have the party on its original date. She can have any product, not set, but any product for half price. With Jordan going to UPS, I would definitely give her an incentive for 5 sales tickets or $200 in sales. You know, I would think on my feet. I mean, if she's a high personality, bubbly, enthusiastic, I mean, this girl can hit big numbers. Okay, so I'm going to give her big numbers to hit. All right. If people start showing up at your parties and they have a Mary Kay consultant, that's a weak link. You don't want other people's customers at your party. So I would give an incentive for having 5 guests who do not have a consultant, or 5 guests over 18. Now, don't get caught up on the age 18 thing, because sometimes people bring their daughters and they'll spend $300 on a daughter, but you know what I'm talking about. Getting her guest list within 24 hours. Chances are you already got her guest list because at your party you did a referral game and you already have that information on the back of her profile card. So if not, getting the guest list within 24 hours. The next video will focus on what to do with that guest list. And then having her register on your website and having her friends register on your website, that makes pre-profiling a little bit easier. That could be another half-price item. Or my number one half-price item is I'm going to give you a link to a positive motivation recording. And if you listen to it, you can have any product at half price. And I'm going to say, Jordan, how long does it take you to get to work? And she's probably going to say between 20 and 25 minutes. Just out of curiosity, I looked that up the other day, and the average amount of travel time for the average person in America is about 20 to 25 minutes, which is perfect for choices, okay? Because she can listen to it on her way to work and back to work that day. All right, she's equipped. She's my business partner. We are on a race to make her the very best hostess this month for my business. And in the process, she gets free product, she gets confidence, and she is prepped to be my next team member. Preliminary coaching's the bomb, isn't it? All right, stay tuned. There's more coming.